Hello all, Cardfight Oasis here, coming at you with a OTT deck profile. This one is going to be Magus. Let's see if y'all enjoy it. So, starter is, of course, Lozenge Magus, and my friend was so happy to finally get the OR. Or not the OR, the IMR. Just look at how pretty that is. Oh my goodness. But bam. So obviously, starter's gonna be Lozenge Magus, because hello, Mega Stack. And then let's start off with the threes. Now here's the surprising part. We're going a little bit backwards from this. So this is how my friend is running his deck. So he's running 2 Hexagonal Magus. Now, Hexagonal Magus' skill is, when placed, counterblast 1, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, put them on top of your deck in any order, and draw a card. And that's only on Vanguard. Auto, Vanguard, Rearguard, when your drive check reveals a trigger unit, this unit gets +5 until the end of turn. And also, this card has the Protect gift. Now, Hexagonal is situational. She's better on a rear guard. So I think that's why my friend only runs 2 of her. But it's really good to just have 2 of her in general because she is better on the rear guard, and the main card that's still on the deck from the last time is more of the main hitter than this one. But if you ride into this one, it's not completely bad. Okay, next, my friend is running 2 of Pentagonal Magus. So she's cool. She's the hotshot card. She's basically your headliner if you're running a pure Magus deck instead of, running it for more power than anything, and I'll explain that in a minute. So, we're running 2 Pentagonal Magus. Her skill is Continuous Vanguard. The increase of trigger effects revealed for your drive checks get +5,000. So that's good because this works with other cards like, not QR Magus. I'm assuming it's Rectangle Magus. We'll get to the grade 2s. Yeah, Rectangle Magus. And then the second skill is Auto Vanguard. When it attacks, Soul Blast a grade 3 and discard 5 cards from your hand. And this unit gets drive +3 until the end of that battle. The number of cards discarded from your hand for this cost is reduced by 1 for each of your rearguard with Magus in its card name in your front row. Now, I've played against my friend using this deck, and the way he uses Pentagonal is if he doesn't run into her early game, he saves her for the last part of the game. Not the very last part, but basically towards the end, finish her like trying to weigh me as his opponent down hard. Especially because that Quinta drive is just bam. And then if you combo it with the next card that I'm going to show you, it's just freaking busted. You could potentially get 4 to 5 crit in a row, depending on how he stacks the deck. And he's increased his chances by that. Like, at least when he's played, he has at least made it 3 crit triggers in a row. That's how good he is with this. So that's 4 grade 3s down so far. And next, we run the oh shit button. 2 of the oh shit button Victorious Deer. Now, if you don't know what his skill is, it's Act, Vanguard, Rearguard, once per turn, Soul Blast 2 grade 3s, and discard a card from your hand. Look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 2 triggers from among them, put the revealed cards on the top of your deck in any order. Shuffle the rest of the cards you looked at, and put them on the bottom of your deck. and 6 of your units get plus 10,000 until the end of turn. So this is a really good finisher. If you combo him with Pentagonal, it's busted because you can stack your crits really, really good. But you only run 2 of him because he's still basically just that you don't want to see him as much. He is, for sure, the oh shit button. So that's 6 grade 3s so far, and this is where you guys are going to think this is so wonky. 4 of Her High Majesty, Imperial Daughter. Yep. This deck runs 10 grade 3s. Now, Imperial Daughter is old school. She is straight up from the first box of the, or not the first box, the first booster of the reboot, and she is still reigning champ. So Imperial Daughter, her skill is Auto Vanguard. When placed, Counterblast 1. Look at 2 cards from the top of your deck. Put 1 card from among them into your hand. Put 1 card from among them into your soul or on top of the deck. And if you roll from a grade 3, this unit gets plus 15,000 and a crit until the end of turn. Her second skill is Act Vanguard once per turn. Soul Blast 1, and 1 of your units gets plus 6 until the end of turn. Now, my friend explained this to me. For a more tactical way of beating your opponent, the thing about Imperial Daughter is you really don't want to cut her out completely, because unlike Magus, even though in Magus you get basically a quintet drive, Imperial Daughter still can manifest a crit. It can make its own crit, which is one of the things that makes any OTT deck that's running her very powerful. And then if you combo it with freaking Victorious Deer and Pentagonal, it's just really killer combos, like constant pressure each turn you are playing. My friend most of the time will win by turn 5 or 6, depending on how his setup goes, if it's delayed or whatnot. So, 10 grade 3s, still running OG Boss. Really good. You guys should really see the deck in play, to be honest. And I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with this build, but it's actually very competitive from what I've seen. Now let's move on to the grade 2s. So, obviously, the deck is not pure Magus, but the Magus engine is very good. And also, since most of the new Magus cards are kind of generic, except for maybe like 1 or 2 things, it works pretty well. So, Rectangle Magus is one of our key grade 2s, and you run 4 of her. No less than that. And Rectangle Magus' skill is, when placed, Counterblast, Soul Blast 1, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck. Put them on the top of your deck in any order and draw a card. Auto Rearguard, when your drive check reveals a trigger unit, this unit gets plus 5,000 till the end of turn. So, she's mostly cool for checking the top, which is, that's what Magus and OTT are good for. But her second skill is really cool because reveal trigger, instead of getting plus 10, you get plus 15. And it doesn't matter, it only matters when the Vanguard sees the triggers. So she is potentially, by herself, a 19k attacker, if no triggers are put on her, which makes her really good, and she hits force numbers really well. Next card, an oldie but a goodie, something that my friend believes for the deck you should not get rid of because her skill is really good, is Promise Daughter as a 4 of. Now, Promise Daughter, her skill, which a lot of people love playing her, even in the OG OTT decks, is Vanguard, her continuous Vanguard rearguard. During the battle that it attacked Vanguard, if the number of cards in your hand is 4 or more, this unit gets plus 6,000. So obviously playing an OTT, your hand is always going to be more than 4. So that plus is still really good. And then continuous rearguard Guardian Circle. This unit cannot be retired due to your opponent's card effect. Now, Narukami and Deleters, because Deleters is going to be binding just like Narukami, she can still be bound. She just cannot be targeted for retirement, which makes her good against OTT and Shadow Paladin especially, and Kagero. So, she is still pretty good to use, and my friend, as he's very tactical when playing and analytical, he views her as a very important card to not get rid of. So, 4 of her in this deck. And then he's running 2 Stellar Magus. So, Stellar Magus' skill is continuous rearguard. During the battle that it boosted, this unit gets plus 2,000 power. Her second skill is auto rearguard. When its attack hits a Vanguard, you may put a card from your hand on top of your deck. Her skill is good because basically it's an on-hit effect, and you do not want to let any on-hits through for obvious reasons. And so a lot of people will guard the on-hits. If they carelessly don't guard it, and they find that out, it's all like, oh no, I can't let this happen. So it's more, basically taking more out of your opponent's hand. Only 2 of, though, but he sees her when he needs her. So, very good card. And now we move on to the grade 1s. So again, partial majority of a Magus deck, we're gonna run this beauty and this big freaking just Powerball Tetra Magus. Definitely a 4 of Tetra Magus. So basically, like Victorious Deer and like Imperial Daughter, she basically can get a crit. She herself won't get the crit. She can give a crit because she puts the crit from your hand on top of the deck. So, her skill. Auto rearguard. When placed, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, counterblast 1, draw a card, reveal up to 1 critical trigger from your hand, and put it on top of the deck. So basically, she's really good. She's just that crit generator, and it's more pressure. She's really good for that late game on hit pressure, especially when you have a lot of cards in your hand and you're just like, oh, let's put this trigger back because why not? And it's really good, especially when your deck is thin. Not saying OTT will, because OTT can manage its resources very well. But if your hand is low and you only have like triggers in your hand for some reason, it's better to keep putting that on top because it's pressure to your opponent as well, and you don't have to keep grabbing from your deck. And the other lovely, pretty, cutie, awesome from the starter deck, she's from the starter deck, Cure Magus. Whoop. Cure Magus' skill is auto Vanguard Rearguard. When placed, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck and put them on the top of your deck in any order. So this is really good because, like, if you combo her with Rectangle Magus, you can look at the top card and then draw the card. So, yeah, and draw the card. So, even though you basically look twice, like with that combo, you can at least get the combo off to draw a card, and then you can basically stack your crits or your triggers better, especially defensive-wise or attack-wise. My friend, because he didn't like using, I think it was not Sphere Magus, Crescent Magus for the counter charge, if I believe. He is running 3 of the Oracle Guardian Gemini. So, if you don't know, originally Oracle Guardian Gemini is the counter charge engine. So act rearguard. If you have 3 or more cards in your damage zone, put this unit into your soul and counter charge 1. So it's good because it's immediate. It doesn't have to be revealed in a trigger zone like Crescent Magus would have to be. So this is more direct, and this, I agree that this is better. But of course, you guys are always free to leave your opinions or any suggestions. Try the build, definitely. And then my friend is still running 2 of Goddess of Tide of Times. How do you pronounce that? Mizunohame. And for those of you that don't know, her skill is when it boosts a Vanguard, if you have 3 or more cards in your damage zone, this unit gets plus 6,000 until the end of that battle. So she's really good, especially for boosting the Vanguard. You don't want to see her too much, so that's why only 2 is ran. But she comes in clutch when, like, example, like say you're going against DP and it's phenomenal cosmic power. You know, at least it's creating extra power for the OTT Vanguard to at least just go at it. Now, onto the triggers. And yes, in the starter deck, some of the triggers got reprinted. My friend basically still uses most of his old art triggers, and he doesn't like separate them like a lot of other people do. So standard OTT lineup, we're running 4 Psychic Bird crit trigger, and then we're running the new art. Whoop. For Oracle Guardian Nike. Whoop. The new art for Oracle Guardian Nike. So still the standard 8 critical. And then 4 heal because, you know, decks are good with heal. So 4 Sphere Magus. And then last but not least, the beautiful Weather Forecaster Miss Mist. She is, I think she went up to 7, or she might be a little higher right now. Plus, she's the only draw PG that's, you know, it's still more tactical to use the trigger PG rather than the grade 1 PG that they give you. So, still that. Alright, guys. Well, that was the Magus profile. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys want to try the build, definitely try it out and see if you like it. If not, well, you know, everyone has their own style, to each their own. So, have a wonderful evening, daytime, nighttime, you know, whenever you're looking at this. And goodbye from Cardfight Oasis.